Let's take a breath together, not the kind of breath we take out of habit shallow and forgettable, but one that invites us to be here, fully, because something tells me if you've clicked on this video, you're not just looking for another tip or another way to impress someone. You're searching for something deeper, maybe even something you haven't been able to name. We often talk about attraction as if it's a game, a performance. Say this, stand like that, make her laugh. Look her in the eye just long enough to show confidence, but not so long that it becomes weird. And maybe you've tried all of it. Maybe you've watched countless videos, repeated lines in front of your bathroom mirror, and still walked away feeling invisible or not enough. And I want to say this to you gently because it matters. You were never meant to perform your way into someone's heart. You were meant to be your way into connection. There's a world of difference between the two. One is exhausting, the other is liberating, and until you feel that difference in your bones, most conversations, no matter how good the starter, will fall flat or feel empty or leave you wondering why it didn't lead to more. So before we talk about what to say, we need to talk about who you are when you say it. Because the truth is women, all women, are listening for something far deeper than your words. They're listening for your energy. Your intent, the quiet, invisible posture of your spirit, and that part you can't fake. You see, women are intuitive by nature. They know when you're speaking from your heart and when you're hiding behind a script. They feel when your curiosity is real and when you're just hoping for a result. And this isn't to intimidate you, it's to free you, because it means you don't need perfect lines. You just need to be present. You just need to show up as someone real and rooted. Now, I know that's not easy, especially in a world that's constantly telling you that you're only worthy if you're winning, if you're the loudest, the smoothest, the most desirable man in the room. But what if I told you, you don't have to be the most anything, you just have to be you, fully, unapologetically, not in a brash way, but in a grounded, quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, but still draws others in. Think about the men who leave an impression not because they talked the most, but because there was something steady in them, something calm, a warmth in their eyes, a sincerity in the way they listened. The way they made space for someone else to feel seen. That kind of presence, that is what attracts women. Every time, and here's the beautiful twist, you don't need to wait until you're ready to embody it. You don't need more money or more validation or more experience. You just need to start from within, to become curious not only about women, but about yourself, your story, your wounds, your light. What shaped you, what still softens you, because the more you come home to yourself, the more magnetic your presence becomes. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are underneath all the pressure and noise. So before you say a word to her, ask yourself gently, who am I being right now? What energy am I carrying into this moment? Am I here to impress or to understand? Am I here to get something or to offer something? You see, the most powerful conversations don't begin with the perfect question. They begin with the quiet courage to be real. And when you show up from that place, when your presence says, you can be yourself with me because I'm being myself with you, you create something rare. Something safe, something inviting. Women don't just feel that, they remember it because it's not common. So often we approach connection from fear, afraid of rejection, of not being enough, of saying the wrong thing. And I want to honor that fear. It's human, it's valid, but fear doesn't have to drive the conversation. What if, instead of performing, you simply paused, breathed, and showed up as the version of you that doesn't need to impress anyone? The version that knows his value, that knows love isn't something to win, it's something to offer. That changes everything, because when a woman senses that you are at peace with yourself, even if you're still learning, still healing, she relaxes. She softens, she feels something rare, safety, not just physical safety, but emotional safety, soul-level safety, the kind that makes her want to stay, to open up, to let herself be seen. So yes, later, we'll talk about those 7 conversation starters. And they do matter, but only if the man asking them is connected to something deeper. only if you've taken the time to come home to yourself. So for now, just take a moment, no rush, no pressure, just presence. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that makes my words meaningful? Am I speaking from the heart or from habit? Am I brave enough to show someone who I really am before I ask them to do the same? If you can sit with those questions, not run from them, but really sit with them, then when the time comes to speak, you won't just be talking, you'll be connecting, and that more than any line, more than any tactic, is what truly attracts women. Let that truth settle in. Let it echo through the spaces of your life where silence has been waiting to be filled. And when you're ready, come with me, because next I'll share 7 conversation starters that don't just spark interest, they spark intimacy. But first, be still, let your heart catch up. We're not rushing this. You're becoming someone worth listening to, and that is the real beginning. Words can either build walls or open doors. And when it comes to women, women who are whole, aware, and emotionally intelligent, words are never just words. They are energy. They are an offering. So the question isn't just, what do I say? The real question is, what kind of space do I create with what I say? Because when you speak from a place of intention not to manipulate, but to understand, you shift the entire dynamic. You're no longer trying to impress her, you're inviting her to be, and women feel that difference every time. So let's talk about these 7 conversation starters, not as tricks or tactics, but as doorways, sacred invitations into deeper connection. And as I go through each one, I want you to imagine the energy behind it. Your tone, your posture, the sincerity in your eyes, because delivery matters, not in a performative way, but in a deeply human way. Here's the first one. What's something that's been lighting you up lately? This question says, tell me about the joy in your life. It's not the usual "what do you do" that we hear in every hallway and dating app message. It's personal, present, it invites her into a moment of aliveness, and it tells her that you're interested in more than just her resume. More importantly, it gives her permission to speak from her heart. You'll notice something shift when she answers. Her eyes might brighten, her voice might lift, or she might pause, realizing no one's asked her that in a long time. That's when you know a real connection is beginning. What's your favorite way to spend time when no one's watching? This is a quiet, playful invitation into her inner world. It's not about what she performs for the world. It's about who she is when she's most at peace, most herself. When you ask this, you give her space to relax, to show you the softer parts of her without needing to be impressive. You'll learn what soothes her, what sparks her creativity, how she recharges. These are the details that make someone real, not just attractive, and in turn you're saying, I want to know you when you're not trying to be known. What's a small thing you're grateful for today? It may sound simple, but simple questions are often the most powerful. Gratitude grounds us. It draws both of you into presence, not the future, not the past, right now. When you ask this, you help her slow down. You invite her to shift gears from performance to presence. And you'll be surprised, people often reveal something beautiful when they talk about what they cherish, even if it's as small as a morning coffee or a good song. And when she shares, meet her there. Let it land. That's not the moment to rush in with your own story. That's the moment to listen. What's a story your friends would tell about you? This one brings a little sparkle. It's a story-driven question that allows her to be seen through the eyes of people who love her. It often brings out laughter, warmth, and sometimes a little humility. It's also a way to discover how she moves through the world. Is she the one who plans everyone's birthday? The spontaneous friend who gets everyone out of their comfort zone? The quiet supporter behind the scenes? You learn not only what she values, but how she's valued by others. What's a dream you've quietly held close, even if it feels far away? Now we're going deeper. This one must be asked gently, no pressure, no expectation, just a soft opening, a safe space to talk about the things she may not share often. Most people carry a quiet dream, a vision they protect. When you invite her to share it, you're not just building intimacy. You're saying, I believe your inner world is worth seeing, and for many women, that's rare. But be mindful, this isn't a moment to analyze or offer solutions. It's a moment to honor the dream, to witness it with kindness. When do you feel most like yourself? This question is like holding up a mirror, not a critical one, but a compassionate one. It asks her to reflect, not just on what she does, but who she is at her core. Some may say, when I'm dancing, or when I'm with my sister, or when I'm walking in nature with no phone. Whatever the answer, it's a breadcrumb. Follow it. It reveals where her authenticity lives. And if she feels like she can be that version of herself around you, that's when trust is built. Because at the end of the day, the most meaningful relationships aren't built on chemistry alone. They're built on the feeling of being allowed to be fully you. What do you wish more people understood about you? This one is profound. It's not for surface-level connections. It requires emotional presence because it touches a place in her that may have been misunderstood, even hidden. When you ask this with genuine care, you create a rare space, a space for her to reveal the part of herself that often goes unseen. And when she does, listen not just to her words, but to her heart. Because often, this is where the most sacred part of someone lives, in the things they wish the world could hold with more gentleness. And when a woman feels seen in that place, she won't forget it. Now take a breath. You've just been given 7 keys, not to unlock someone, but to welcome them, and that's the difference. These aren't tools to get something, they're invitations to give something. Attention, presence, reverence, because the truth is, meaningful connection isn't about saying the right thing. It's about being the right energy. If you bring pressure or desperation, even the best question will fall flat. But if you bring stillness, sincerity, and openness, even the simplest words can open a heart. So as you sit with these 7 conversation starters, don't memorize them, feel them. Let them become part of your posture, your rhythm, your energy. Because the words alone aren't what attract her. It's the man who asks them, the man who listens, the man who sees her, the man who is no longer hiding behind a role, but showing up with nothing to prove. Let that be you, and when the moment comes to ask, whether it's across a table in a quiet park or through a message, pause for a breath. Be present, be kind, be real, and then ask, not because you're hoping she'll like you, but because you're offering her the gift of being known, and that's where everything changes. Maybe as you've listened, you've started to feel something stir inside you, not the rush of inspiration that fades quickly, but something quieter, more grounded, a kind of remembrance of who you are, of what you're really looking for, of the truth that maybe you've always known. Because let's be honest, you don't just want more attention from women. You want more depth in your life. You want your words to matter. You want your presence to have weight. You want to feel like when you walk into a room, you bring more than just a body, you bring peace, warmth, safety, a spark. That's something that can't be faked. You're not here to collect numbers or likes or nods of approval. You're here because you want to be seen, really seen, and not just that you want to see others. To connect, to love, to offer something meaningful, something honest, and maybe you didn't know how to get there. Maybe you thought it was about charm or strategy or being louder, sharper, cooler, but somewhere along the way, those things started to feel hollow. They got you attention, maybe, but not the kind that satisfies, not the kind that anchors you, not the kind that leads to intimacy. So if you're feeling a quiet ache, not for more attention, but for more truth in how you relate to women, to people, to life, you're not alone. That ache is sacred. It's your soul nudging you, saying, "Come closer, come home. There's more for you than what you've been chasing," because connection isn't earned through performance, it's received through presence. And that's the shift. That's what changes everything. You begin to realize that the relationship you build with others is a mirror of the one you have with yourself. So if you're always trying to prove your worth, if you're terrified of being rejected, if you can't sit with your own silence, then your conversations will reflect that tension. But if you learn to value your inner life, if you become a man who listens to himself, his needs, his emotions, his dreams, if you become someone who feels at home in his own skin, then the way you speak will carry something sacred. Women feel that, everyone feels that, and it's not flashy, it's not loud, but it is magnetic. It's not about the question you ask, it's about the energy with which you ask it. The energy of someone who isn't looking for approval, who doesn't need to dominate the conversation, who isn't trying to be liked by everyone, just understood by the right ones. So what does that look like in real life? It means you stop rushing into interactions trying to impress. You pause. You look her in the eye not to show confidence, but because you genuinely want to see her. You let her speak not just to fill space, but because you believe her thoughts matter. You hold silence when it comes not awkwardly, but openly, because you've stopped fearing quiet moments. You ask questions from a place of care, not curiosity masked as control. You show your own heart, too, not everything all at once, but gently, authentically, because you understand that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's invitation, and slowly, the dynamic begins to change. You're no longer chasing connection, you're creating it moment by moment, word by word, because connection isn't something you find. It's something you offer, and it begins with you. So if you've ever wondered, why don't women respond to me the way I hope they will? Maybe the answer isn't out there. Maybe it's not about fixing something. Maybe it's about returning to something, your own truth, your own softness, your own wholeness. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to be rich or ripped or witty to be worthy. You just have to be real. You have to be kind. You have to be honest. You have to be someone who can sit in front of another human soul and say, "I'm not here to win you. I'm here to see you, and if that's mutual, we can build something beautiful." Because here's the truth that most people miss. Every conversation is a mirror. It reflects not only the other person, but you, the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you hold space for emotion, for silence, for joy, for story, for mystery. It all comes back to who you are being. So what if instead of asking, "How can I get more women to notice me?" you asked, "How can I become more of the man I'm proud to be?" Not for them, but for you. Because when you become that man, the one who doesn't speak to impress, but to connect, women notice. Not just because you're different, but because you're safe, you're steady, you're sincere. You become the man who listens when others interrupt, who pays attention when others drift off, who asks better questions, who holds more presence, who seeks real connection, not conquest. And yes, that kind of man attracts women, all women, the right kind of women, the ones who are done with surface, who are ready to build something deeper. But more than that, that kind of man attracts peace, because he's no longer trying to prove himself. He's simply being himself fully, freely, faithfully. So as we come to the end of this message, I want to invite you into something quiet. Not dramatic, not flashy, just a soft landing, a moment of reflection. Ask yourself not with shame, but with sincerity, who am I becoming in the way I speak to others? Am I more interested in being impressive or being present? Can I learn to let go of control and lean into curiosity? Can I be brave enough to ask the kind of questions that make people feel seen? Not everyone will meet you there. Not every woman will respond the way you hope. But the ones who do will feel something different in you, and they'll remember it, because depth leaves an imprint. So go gently, go fully, go with heart, and when the moment comes, start the conversation. Let it be honest, let it be curious, let it be real. You don't need permission to connect, just presence, and that, my friend, is enough. It always has been.